Hello everyone, I'm Captain Logan and it's not Spawn year. It's day 42 of my comic review video day calendar. 42, the answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything. And you'd think that maybe in honor of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the number 42, I would be reviewing some kind of quirky, cerebral science fiction thing, but nope, because as you can see behind me, I am in the middle of preparing for Counting Crypto Freaks The Revenge. And in fact, if you're watching this just as it's posting, or several hours after that, I'm also broadcasting live right now, watching and commenting over Smallville episodes from the first season. So I wanted to review something kind of simple that would read kind of quick because I'm very busy today. So I picked what I figured would be a crappy first issue of a Venom mini from the 90s. Yeah, these are always fun. This is Venom License to Kill, number 1, just the first of a 3-issue miniseries. So is this a ridiculous exercise that I'm reviewing just this first issue and not all 3 of them? Yes, it is, but that's what we're doing. Is it stupid? Probably. But let's continue on. Honestly, when I grabbed this, I thought it was a 4-issue miniseries. It turns out it's only 3. I was like, oh, okay. So, like, I don't know, 15 more minutes and I could have read the rest of the thing. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. I'm just going to tell you about it. And yes, it's also weird to post a pre-recorded video on top of myself as I'm broadcasting live. But I said I would try to review one of these every day and get the videos up close to the same time each day. So yes, I'm posting a video on top of myself live streaming. Everything about today is ridiculous, and including this choice for review. So Venom License to Kill, number 1, as you can see, there's kind of a parody of Judge Dredd there on the cover where he's saying, I am the law, like Sly Stallone. He's got his License to Kill badge. You know, if it was me, I wouldn't have that phrase on the cover twice. I'd just make the badge maybe a little bit bigger or have Venom holding it a little bit higher and then not have the title above it at all. Like, that would work as the title. I've seen that a lot. I don't know why you're doing that. This cover is also kind of strange because this is not the big, super bulked up Venom with the huge shoulders that you sometimes see during this period and that you see on the cover here. We've got a somewhat leaner, I mean, he's still pretty bulky, but he doesn't look like that. He's not so disproportionate. This is much more of the classic kind of McFarlane Bagley Venom. And anyway, this one is written by Larry Hama, who writes a lot of this kind of stuff in the 90s, and Derek Achum. I didn't find any information on him. That is not an artist that I'm familiar with. But this is basically Agent Venom before Agent Venom. So, of course, it is still Eddie Brock merged with the Venom symbiote, but he has been conscripted into the military as a special agent to basically play James Bond. And I guess he can be an asset to the military, even though they're ridiculous for thinking they can control him. And the whole problem through this is, and the whole big question is, can the army control Venom? The answer, not shockingly, is no. No, of course not. This is dumb. This is the, secret weapon that is probably going to blow up in our face sort of plot. But I guess the reason that Venom is supposed to be an asset is because Eddie Brock is able to morph back and forth between a human form and Venom form. And yes, they use the term morph like it's Power Rangers. And I guess, so I guess the idea is he can go undercover, he can pretend like he is anybody he wants to be, and then he's got the secret weapon in the Venom symbiote. But the problem is, Eddie Brock and the Venom symbiote just want to kill bad guys together. Whether he's in Venom form or not, that's what Eddie Brock wants to do. That's what he likes. This is still the Lethal Protector period. All of these miniseries are kind of sequels or spin-offs to that mini in the first place, and they're all kind of similar, wacky, ridiculous, can't remotely take it seriously, kind of rushed out and phoned in sort of tone, sort of attitude. And there's maybe a little bit of fun to be had with some of these just because of how insane and silly they are. But I gotta say, I didn't really care for this at all. And I don't think it's just because I like Agent Venom as much as I do with, Rick Remender's run and with, why can't I think of his name all of a sudden? Flash Thompson as Venom, but also because this is, I mean, the real reason I'm not caring for this is because the premise is just absurd and not in really a fun way. We're still in that place where Venom is popular, so we feel like we have to give him his own comics, but we don't really know what to do with him as an anti-hero, really. So we just say, okay, like, it's so one note. It's like giving Violator his own miniseries with Spawn, which, by the way, we did. This also reads a lot like that to me with the very, again, phoned-in Alan Moore miniseries where, and it's so weird that he wrote that, by the way. We have a guy that just wants to kill people. In this case, yes, bad guys. He has sort of a moral code, but where do you go from there? It's, okay, these people are hurting innocents, so I'm going to take them out and I'm going to have fun doing it. There's not, I mean, maybe there are some cool stories you can tell with that, but this and these other miniseries are not making a great case for that. And it's also really derivative of Suicide Squad and is handled in a much less thoughtful way than the best of that material. So what we've got basically is the military going, so Venom goes on a mission at the beginning of this issue, and then he succeeds at taking down some terrorists in an airplane, but he causes a ton of collateral damage in the process, as you might expect. I just reviewed recently by request, because it's the only way I ever would have read this or watched this, Team America. And this kind of reminded me a little bit of Team America, where you have these crazy hotshots that run in and do a fighting terrorist kind of mission, but they blow up a bunch of landmarks in the middle of it. And so the question from the public is, are they causing more problems than they're solving? Is it worth actually having them out there? And in this case, there's a lot of kind of damage control and PR issues where the military doesn't want the public to find out that they're using Venom in the same way that Waller wouldn't really want people to know that she's got the Suicide Squad, because it's a stupid idea, especially in this case. So they decide to do the Suicide Squad thing and put a bomb in Venom's head and control him that way. And it's, I kind of am shocked by the audacity of just straight up lifting that material. It's precisely the same thing, except Venom is all by himself. So what can possibly go wrong? You don't even have any kind of checks or balances from anybody on the team that might actually, happen to believe in what they're doing or have a backup, especially if you do have to blow up Venom. And the other problem is, we're told that the bomb that's put in his head, which happens on this page, and by the way, there's a panel there in that top half that looks like a computer panel that looks like Star Trek TNG LCARS. And I don't know if they're ripping that off on purpose, but that layout very much looks like that, even though there's not any text or anything on it. It's real generic. But anyway, we're told that if they blow up Venom with this bomb, it'll also take out anything in close proximity, which is just an easy plot device, just a contrivance so that Venom can get away with anything he wants to at the end of this, and they can't blow him up because they'll also destroy the money that he's delivering to the bad guy. By the way, the story is called, this is another one of those things where it's License to Kill, but then it has to have a subtitle or it has to have its own story title. I never understand that with miniseries. I brought this up recently with another mini where it's like, it's only three or four issues and it has a title. Why does it need a story name also? But this is Venom License to Kill, Dr. Yes. Dr. Yes. Okay. Oh, sorry. I thought I thought I had the panels on this other scene I was going to cut to, but all you saw was a brick wall. Anyway, I'll just move this over so you can see that title. Yeah, License to Kill, Doctor Yes. Okay, so yeah, we all know what we're doing. We basically just took two James Bond titles and we sandwiched them together. Instead of Doctor No, it's Doctor Yes. And we don't do anything especially clever with that. We're, you know, I thought maybe it would be he's surrounded by yes men, or he's got some kind of gimmick where he says yes to everything even if he doesn't mean it, or something. We're not clever with that at all. He's just a Russian guy, and it's short for yes whatever, a cough. His name is, because of course we've got to do that. So anyway, Venom at the end of this is handed $20 million ransom money because this guy has a generic terrorist plot. It's a real typical kind of James Bond plot. I'm going to unleash a virus on the world unless you give me X amount of dollars. $1 million. In this case, $20 million. So it's that kind of story. And this feels like it was written on a cocktail napkin at a Mexican restaurant on a Friday and turned in on a Saturday morning. And Venom takes the money, and I guess the whole plan is to just play along with the bad guy. I don't know what they're going to do after the money gets delivered. We're not really told that. Venom is just, I guess it's like a need-to-know kind of thing, or there's not really a plan beyond that on Hama's part either. And I know I've read stuff from Hama that I've liked, but this doesn't seem like anybody really wanted to be here. And again, he's not taking things remotely seriously, and like that certainly can be fun. I'm back to this double page spread again because I want to read this, but it almost feels like self-parody. Like, what is this a parody of? Is it a parody of Suicide Squad? Like, Eddie Brock during this period is a pretty two-dimensional, and he was for a real long time until just recently. We've finally done some interesting things with that character in comics, and I haven't read enough of the newer stuff. I mean, I read the first, like, 25 issues or so of the big kind of now what people think of as seminal run by Cates, and I remember really liking it. It's been a little while now. I'll have to review that at some point, but Eddie Brock finally has gotten some real character dimension without going against, his initial characterization. This Eddie Brock is somehow still really simplistic and not that interesting, and kind of just jockish, and really enjoys killing people, and is also somehow out of character. He talks a lot like Deadpool in this, but I want to go back to this page for a second. This is real indicative of the kind of writing we have here. Well, if it ain't that mongrel, pervert, murdering, alien-loving, psycho killer Venom, you got a lot of nerve busting in on a tactical action of the NEO crypto-fascist right-thinkers party. That's just a bunch of gobbledygook that doesn't even go together. Okay, so, like, at least he's right away getting out ahead of you and establishing his tone and letting you know what sort of book you're reading. If that's the kind of book you want to read, here it is. It's a real throwaway. You're going to forget about everything that happens 30 seconds after you read it. And you get to... So Venom delivers the money to these overly sexualized, hot babe mercenaries, and that Dr. Yes has hired, and apparently they're the people that Venom is supposed to give the money to, but they put a gun on him anyway. You better give us that money. For a second, I thought they were ripping him off, but apparently they're the people he was supposed to deliver it to. And then there's this goofy idea that Venom needs to get a receipt. The military people, the whoever's in charge, these are all real, kind of cardboard cutout characters. But like the general guy in charge or whatever tells Venom that he has to get a receipt from these women for the money, and they think that's ridiculous because it is. And then they get into a big firefight, even though he's got the money and he's supposed to give it to them. And he says, "Well, I'm gonna get what I'm told to get, so they better give me a receipt." I don't know why he does that. I don't know why he doesn't just take this into his own hands and hand it over to them, unless he's thinking. But he also has, his own really simplistic personal code. They're bad guys. Just kill them. So I guess it's just real, a real rated R kind of children playing with video game or with action figures, pardon me, kind of thing. And then he goes underwater for a second and manages not to drown, and then he gets attacked by a robot. And next issue, he's going to be fighting this big robot, and that's what happens in this issue. Yep. There, I read this comic. I phoned this in as much as this comic did, and I don't even feel bad about it. Although I probably talked about it a little bit too long, so sorry for wasting your time. This should have been a 5-minute review. Thanks a lot for watching. This, I think, is the follow-up. I didn't mention this part to the Trial miniseries. I guess the reason that Venom, I should have said this at the beginning because this is kind of part of the premise, but I guess the reason nobody's watching this video still at this point, but I'm going to say this anyway. I guess Venom was taken out of his trial and taken by the government and forced to go on these missions. And so that must have been part of that miniseries and how that ended, because I have those. I've never read that, but I assume this is the follow-up to that thing. This is from 1997, and I think the first Goofy Venom miniseries, which was Lethal Protector, was like 93, 94. The Venom movies are looking too much at this material. And this is clearly the source material that they're going to, which is really unfortunate because we moved past that a lot of years ago, or at least, I'll say certainly at least with the symbiote. And but apparently Sony did not get the memo with that, and they just went back to the first solo things that have Venom in the title, unfortunately. So anyway. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And now feel free to click over and watch some Smallville with me, because I am live right now doing that. Anyway, I was Captain Logan, and happy reading.